Good afternoon, evening. Today we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to do a blended Scotch whiskey. It's Usquaebach. Now, I found this one in a little liquor store in far western Kansas. Hanging around on a shelf. I'd never seen it before, so I bought it. The bottle has a date on it, L168323, which is probably L16 is going to be 2016, so we know it's a 2016 bottle. So that's about all I can tell you. I don't know how to work out the 8323. Sure, one of those is days of the year, maybe the 83 days of the years, and I don't know. The L16 should be 2016 was when it was bottled. It is Usquaebach Reserve blended Scotch whiskey, distilled and aged, blended and bottled in Scotland. 20 Oaks Limited, Glasgow, Scotland. Usquaebach's registered trademark of Cobalt Brands LLC. Let's go ahead and get a support here. It is a product of Scotland's 43% alcohol by volume, which is nice. Most blended scotches always come in at 40, so we get a little extra percentage. And it's Robert Burns memorialized Usquaebach in his poem Tam O'Shanter. I'm not going to read it because I don't read Gaelic. So, Usquaebach means water of life. I may be pronouncing it wrong. If I am, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. A little blurb from the back, which I don't normally read, but since this is kind of a odd bottle you don't see very often, I figure it's worth a chance. For over a century, Usquaebach Scotch whiskies have been synonymous with excellence, careful attention by our master blender, and the finest raw materials, and the use of the rarest of malts have earned Usquaebach the title King of Blended Whiskies, King of the Blended Whiskies. Tradition, history, and heritage are all part of the Usquaebach Reserve. Hand-selected matured whiskeys from our bottler's private reserves comprise this high-quality premium Scotch. It is a rare blend of whiskeys aged 16, 17, and 18 years combined with younger malts for complex and rich Scotch whiskey of uncompromising quality. The marriage of reserve whiskeys offers layered hints of honeyed cherry notes, very long finish, and is rounded by sweet spices. I've already had some. I already reviewed it once on another friend's channel. So now it's my turn to review it for my channel. It's got the old neck label on it, which is Glenlivet's. Older Glenlivet's used to put them on their bottles. I think other bottles did too, but the one I remember anyway. It's an older Glenlivet. We've went through a lot of blurb to get to this point. And we'll talk more about Usquaebach after the review. Okay. You get the sherry on the nose. You get dried raisins and plums. A little woodiness. A little raw grain from grain whiskey. Just a touch of that. Nose is pretty nice on it. Kind of enjoy the nose. There's a sweetness there. Could I say it's honey? Maybe. Tastes more like smells more like a sweet grain to me. There's a touch of fruitiness in there. Dried apricot comes to mind. All right, cheers. There's a little tingly up front. Okay, we get the dried fruits. A little bit of the baking spices come through on the palate. There's also a bit of astringency. And there's a bit of minerality to this one. There's a mineral note. Metallic note maybe, mineral note. Two sides of the same coin. For me anyway. It does have that minerality note in it. It does have, the finish is still sticking around. There's a vanilla notes in that finish too. A little more caramel in there. I would honestly say a little bit of touch of caramel in this mess, more than I get any honey. I'm gonna go for another sip. You know, you can get a sense of both the Scotch and the grain whiskey in this one. I would even go as far as say it's bitter. There's a bitter note to this one. Like a bitter orange pith. Yeah. I definitely see that in there too. But as you get toward the end of it, the sherry does hang around. The sherry notes, the dried fruits, they hang around on the back of the tongue. Honestly, I get a little bit of orange note on the back of my tongue too as well. But it's that bitter orange. This is a very... This is not... I would not... If you were new to Scotch, I would not give you this Scotch. I would not suggest you don't try it. I mean, don't let this be your first experience in Scotch. With that being said, you can get a sense of some of the older whiskeys in here. You can get a sense of some of the younger grain whiskeys in there. There's younger grains in there as well. There may be some older grains too, but there's definitely some young grain in there, and even some young malt. But they've had it balanced pretty well. But the minerality and the bitterness is going to be hard for a new Scotch drinker to overcome. And this, it's going to put off a new Scotch drinker. If you got more experience, I mean, even for a blended, more experienced Scotch drinker, he may appreciate this more. I like it. I don't think it's the best blended Scotch I've ever had. I don't think it's the worst either by any means. And it's different. Excuse me. It's different than I think most every blended Scotch I've ever had. This is different. It is a different animal. 40, I forget now what I paid for it. We'll just say mid-40s. It was worth the price of admission on this one. Would I buy it again? No. Am I glad I bought this one? Yes. Because this is unique in some aspects compared to other blended Scotches without age statements. This is unique in a category that you're not going to get this in any of the others. It's just very unique in that sense. I'm going to give it an 85. It's an even B. I'm not going to give it too high a score, too low a score. An even B. And I've told you what I feel about it. I'm glad I bought the bottle, but would I buy it again? No. We'll just leave it at that. Here's what the label looked like, and I have seen it once since I've purchased this one. Because when I bought this one was bought in Kansas City. And when I came across this one and bought it, it's another Usquaebach 15. They did have one of those. Now, you'll usually see Usquaebach label branded, and these little porcelain, they're 750s, but they're a porcelain jug that they come in. And it's like almost $200, I think, for some of them, if I'm recalling right. And then they even have, and those are white, if you look it up, those are the white ones. They're an older blended Scotch, or maybe blended malt Scotch, because this is blended malts. This is not a blended Scotch like that. Then they got another one that comes in a blue ceramic container, and it's more of a, it's even higher priced. I think, I want to say it was $230 or something like that for it. At the store I seen it at, seen them both in Kansas City. Don't even know if they had it. It's 2 years since I've seen that. Well, a year and a half since I've seen it. But anyway, you take that information with you how you want. Look it up. It's definitely worth the look up. If you had the money to spend, you could do a lot worse, because this will definitely challenges the palate in some aspect. I'm not going to say in an entire positive way, but not in an entirely bad way either. It does bring a little astringency and heat with it, but it's not bad. That's all I got to say about it. Remember, the spirit in your glass ain't running from you. Take your time, sip, and enjoy it. You'll be better for it, as will we all. Everyone have a wonderful day.